The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to tonight's Infinii broadcast. It's my pleasure to be your host this evening. My name is Ken Eggleston. I'm the VP of Global Sales. And, what we're going to go through tonight is exactly what is really causing such a stir around the network marketing and home-based industry and e-commerce globally, and that's Infinii, guys. And we're going to make this fast-paced. We're going to get through it, and at the end of this, I believe you're going to see something that, quite honestly, could change your future if you choose to take action. So, with that, the things that we're really going to start to go through here, and I've got one little problem here. Stand by 1 second. Kev, you there, brother? You guys, bear with me. I've got a little bit of an IT issue happening again.
I'm here, Ken. What do we got?
All right, brother. I've got a freeze up on my system again here, so let me see if I can break this again. Get out. Okay. We'll have this fixed.
There you
All
go.
All right, guys. So I always have fun with the IT side. Kev, thank you so much, sir. All right, guys, so once again, tonight we're going to go through several things, and I believe as we start off, all of you know right now that a revolution is happening. I'm seeing several different things. I was reading in a couple of online magazines today talking about the digital world and what's happening, and it goes along with everything that we know right now, because we live in a time of unprecedented change. Everything's happening in front of us. We're replacing our phones every 6 months. People that want to stay on the cutting edge. We see computers that come out this year. Next year, they're no longer at the top thing, and it's just driving such a time of unprecedented things becoming obsolete so quickly in an unprecedented way. So we know industries and economies are shifting. We all recognize technology is replacing the old economy, and around the world, people are struggling to earn a living in this new economy. I think that all of us have friends, and maybe it's even happening to you right now, where you're finding yourself being outpaced by the changes at hand. And this is really what we want to talk about tonight. And we see millions around the world struggling in today's economy. We see it affecting anywhere from Russia to China to the U.S. to the EU, all points in between. And CNN Money was recently talking about the global economy, not North America economy, not the EU economy, but the global economy having a titanic problem. And of course, we all know that Titanic is a reference to the ill-fated cruise liner that sunk, so that's not a good thing to be talking about when you say a global economy. We've got 1 million bankruptcies being filed in the U.S. alone in 2013, and that's continued to be an unprecedented march every year with similar numbers. We know EU or Euro unemployment, some of the graphics are exceeding as much as 45% in some of the participating countries in there. We've all watched Greece, Spain, and we know what's happening there as we watch with the refugee crisis. This is truly impacting some of the younger generation, the 20 and 30-year-olds. That their unemployment is just it's just skyrocketing. It's so sad to see it happen. 600 million jobs required in the next decade alone by some of the conservative estimates. Currently, over 200 million people out of work, according to the International Labor Organization. The U.S. middle class, wages are shrinking, not growing. I mean, some of the studies that you've seen, they're now saying that if we really look at the increases in the wage-earning U.S. middle class, it's only gone up 6% since the late 70s. So there hasn't been a way for them to really get ahead. It's just been basic survival. And, of course, in that look at the U.S. middle class, it had a long run as a middle class, but it's now shrinking. And what we're seeing occur in the middle class in developing countries is that while they had a middle class, they weren't able to experience the length of it that occurred in the U.S. for stability. It's already begun a major shrink, and so you're just having your elites, and then quite honestly those that are in poverty. And one of the things when you start to see something like this and you start to think it through, we all have to recognize that something always happens in the world. There is no static scenario. Everything's always in motion, and for every downturn, there is an upturn when we're dealing with economies or industries. And for every dying economic empire, the old saying is a new one is born, and we've seen it throughout history. What I happen to love really is the origin of species statement, that it is not the fittest that survive, which we're always told, but it really isn't. But it's those who are the most adaptable to change. And so, what I want to do tonight is talk to those of you who are change agents or adapters, as I like to refer it. There are different books out there that I love to read. One of my favorites is The Tipping Point, and those of you that have read The Tipping Point recognize it talks about industry and trends and what happens once things reach the tipping point. So what we've seen is that tipping point impact across the world in the digital takeover. On the left side of the screen, you're going to see Uber. Those of you that maybe you haven't taken an Uber ride yet, but any of you who have, you'll never go back to ever jumping in a taxi again. It's probably one of the most incredible concepts ever, created in the founder's mind in 2009, valued out at $50 billion by the Wall Street Journal, does not own a single taxi cab. This is all through smart app connecting the Uber drivers to the consumers around the world, and it's taking over. Let's look at the middle one, Airbnb, the largest economy provider as far as accommodations provider, and yet does not own a single piece of real estate. Founded in 2008 with a market value of $25.5 billion, according to CNN Money, and again, think about that, doesn't own a single hotel. Hilton Hotels, that was formed in the 1950s, only today has a market value of somewhere right around $20 billion, and look at all the real estate holdings that it has. So the old concepts are changing, and that brings us to Infinii and showing you how the interconnected world, and how if you embrace the change through Infinii and get in front of it, we can do some amazing things here. Now, we've all seen some of the mega stores closing down. We've seen the malls, except for the massive malls that are really almost more of a shall we say, an amusement park experience these days with how crazy they look. But the second-tier malls have all started to feel the impact. We've seen Walmarts, we've seen the list coming out of the closures, and it's all occurring because of this massive shift. Now, when we look at Walmart, and the last Black Friday and their general numbers that are coming out, we're seeing a 30% decrease in Walmart, Target 3%, Macy's 39%, Sears 33%, Best Buy 18%. But you know what we're not seeing? We're not seeing it impact a different part of the sector. So while retail businesses are shutting down, there's this sector that isn't having that impact. Matter of fact, it's exactly the opposite, and that's the online world. Look at Amazon.com. During the same period of time, when we see all the red arrows going down in the other areas, Amazon shoots up at 117%. Same thing has happened with eBay, same thing has happened with Alibaba and all the other large online things. Folks, we don't have to be rocket scientists to realize that there's a massive change underway and taking place. So, since we all recognize that online sales are exploding, and it's growing at 15 to 20% every year. Now, that's a huge number. We take numbers casually. But if you can grow at 15 to 20% every year, that's an insane level of growth. Now, over $300 billion in US dollars in combined sales alone during 2014 for Amazon.com, eBay, Google, and Facebook. But let's start to think about those two things. Imagine for a second, just sit back, put on the scope. Wouldn't you like to be that person that can see into the future as some of the top business people do, and they're able to see trends? Well, folks, that's what our CEO did. That's what our founders did when they got together and they recognized and got ahead of this trend, and they created a company that would allow Amazon, eBay, Google, Facebook, or empower those platforms to begin finding customers, processing payments, delivering products, and offer the customer support for you, the Infinii member. Now, whether you're looking at this from being a customer of the Infinii products that I'm going to get into, or you've got your cap on, you're thinking the business side, and you see that, you're going to love the way this continues to roll out. Imagine the huge shift that's taking place, offline to online. It's giving us a real opportunity But very rarely do people have the opportunity to get in front of that and participate in the global change. We watch it, but how can we participate? So we have many brands, rapidly making the move to online, as we recognize. We just talked about the different ones. We see Kmart, Target, we see all of them launching their affiliate sites. They're all trying to get in front of this, but e-commerce as a whole can't be controlled by any one group. So it's now a $1 trillion global industry. Matter of fact, the old retail sector, even with trying to make the switch to the affiliate links and everything else, they cannot get control of this. So they're looking to participate in this, and guess what? We're the vehicle through that participation, and it's creating previously unavailable opportunities for profit for us, the average individuals that are out there who want to realize this and get ahead. As I talked about before, USA, $349 billion currently. Look at Canada, $27 billion. As we go across the globe, see the power here. France, $43 billion. UK, $99 billion. Germany, $62 billion. China, a whopping $672 billion. Korea, $39 billion. Japan, $90 billion. Brazil, $20 billion. Australia, $19 billion. I could keep going, but I think it's a pretty clear message that it is happening everywhere. So it's a true global participation process here. And the research firm eMarketer projects that the global e-commerce sales will actually eclipse 3.5 trillion within the next few years alone. So the question that Infinii wants to ask you is, how much of the 3.5 trillion would you like to participate in? And you might think that's somewhat of a superfluous question to throw out here as, well, it's pretty bold of you to ask that, but we know what we're doing. You want to know why? It's already been being done by Infinii through one of our subsidiary companies over the course of the last over 2.5 years, and to date, this is only just a couple months old, this picture, and we had already done over $2 billion in sales through our members on the different e-commerce platforms, and those members had actually profited over $380 million. And folks, that number, if you go to our website, infinii.com, which I'm sure was shared with you by the person that invited you here, you're going to see that $2 billion number has already now just about hit 2.5 billion. So you see the power of this, and I show you this to let you know this is already being done. This isn't some type of a hypothesis on will it work. And I want to introduce you real quick to this young man, Jim Chow. I actually had him on a guest recently during a webinar, and this young man just turned 28 just recently. And I knew him and have known him for a number of years now, and look at what the earnings, and when you see that name, DS Domination on check, that is actually Infinii's subsidiary, and of course Infinii has taken in the e-commerce space of that, but that's actually our subsidiary company there. Look at the earnings that this 28-year-old young man has done, and that was, folks, in May of 2015. He's already far eclipsed that, and that's what we're going to talk about. But anyone can do this. I'm going to keep introducing as we go on through the weeks here to different individuals that doesn't matter what race, what creed, what nationality, what sex, nothing. The online world makes this, and the e-commerce world makes it completely non-existent. We've got 70-year-olds hitting it, and we've got the individuals in the young 20s. So this is real, folks, and it's a working model. And let's really dive into exactly how Jim did it and how you can do it and how others are already being successful at it. So our system allows you to generate profits with no inventory. Okay, that's a big one if you're thinking about a home-based business or even opening a business. And maybe you're thinking about, how do I generate continual income? You're looking at a franchise or something. Trust me, folks, to even start the most minimally profitable franchise, it's a $100,000, $150,000 investment, and that's just to do a small little strip mall sandwich shop. But when you look at having no inventory, that's a key. No upfront costs, another huge factor. Because if you're looking at other home-based businesses, they're usually a pretty good upfront cost right off the bat to go ahead and get started. Now, No traffic generation, so you don't have to figure this out on your own on how to do it. No shipping and management, so you don't have to be running to the post office or FedEx or UPS to get this stuff done. And the Infinii model, as I mentioned before, is proven now with 2.5 billion in sales in just over our first 2 years through our memberships, e-commerce movements. So our stats show, as we've talked about, the Infinii members are actually earning 6 times more than those in other e-commerce platforms. And here's a reason for it. Infinii's system is unlike any other in the world. It's simple. It's an automated way to profit on Amazon, Google, eBay, etc., and then without spending hours a day on technical tasks. This is a big issue for me. I don't know about you. I happen to be recently 50. I don't like sitting in front of a computer all day. I like to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And the world, technology, is allowing us to get freed up. But imagine if you could go ahead and without becoming a marketing expert, without chasing friends and family, that you could go ahead and actually build a business that by dedicating 60 minutes a day, that doesn't mean, a passing thought. It means give us 60 minutes a day of focused effort, and you'd be amazed what this system can produce for you. Now, let's take a look at the actual system in action here. And I always like to use this example because our CEO introduced me to this platform when he was talking about, a monkey on Amazon. And I remember I have a law enforcement background, tend to be skeptical, and I remember looking at him and going, okay, I've never sold anything on Amazon, so walk me through this. And he says, Ken, I'm going to show you this monkey on Amazon, and it's selling for $8.96. And then he goes, we're going to plug this in through our formula, through our system, through everything that we have in place to show you how you're going to go ahead and locate that same monkey that's selling for $17.98 on a different platform. Now he goes, it's not the monkey that I want you to pay attention to, it's the process. But he goes, for your benefit, I figured we'd do a monkey. So you could see the sense of humor of our CEO. So with that, he goes, you're going to realize a $9.02 profit minus the fees, on the platform for going and selling it. And so I said, okay, I see the profit. It's a nice system, and I guess that can work. I don't see how you're really going to build that into a huge home-based business, though. He goes, Ken, you're missing the point. It's that easy. Now scale your business as large as you want to maximize your earnings. It's not about the single monkey sale. It's about the multitudes. And let's look at this right now on AliExpress. We've got a flip leather mobile phone case that's selling for $3.52. Well, if we jump over to Amazon, we're looking at a very similar one that's selling for $28.99. And good chance that we're going to be able to go ahead and move this product into do some substantial sales. And since it's got a similar product with same features, that's a big difference in price. So we're realizing a $25.40 profit minus the fees. And again, not looking at the one sale, looking at the multitudes of sales. So take it one step further now. Imagine going ahead and while you're shopping, and ladies, it's one of the things that I know if you're like any of the ladies I have in my life and in the family, you're going to see that shopping is a pretty easy process, but could you imagine if it was enjoyable and you actually made money while you were having fun doing it? The whole idea here is imagine scanning items that you find in the stores as you're going through and you sell them on Amazon. So you simply scan store, you load it into the Amazon to sell, and you collect the profits because it's actually telling you what the price is it's selling online at that time. You identify the things that have a nice profit, and you're able to handle that. So let's take, for example, you found a product for $24.85. It's selling on Amazon for $39.50, and you've got a profit of $14.65 minus the fees. Again, seems like small numbers, but let's take a look at it on a full scale. So we've got the Amazon and eBay example on the monkey I talked about. We've got the international site example on the mobile flip phone aspects I talked about with the casing, and we've got the shop and scan that I just talked about for the $14.65. So combined total profit there would be $49.14, again minus the fees, but that times 50 listings turns into $2,470 in whatever period of time you do that. I like to say monthly, but it depends on the period of time that you do that in. So now we take a look at that, we minus out the fees, and we get $2,150 in profit for the month. Well, that would save an enormous number of bankruptcies, because the majority of bankruptcies, if they had as much as $500 more a month in spendable capital, they could avoid bankruptcy. So $2,000 might not change your world every month, but it would change a lot of people. And folks, again, scalable. This doesn't have to be, when you look at Jim Chow's check, I don't think that he was interested in the 2,000 when he's making 600 and approximately 50,000 per year. So to say it's scalable, that's a good point there. And of course, as this is your business, though, the more effort you commit to learning the skills we teach, the better your results are going to be as you go through that. And of course, there's no guarantee associated with this, because each person has to go ahead and utilize the system. Yeah, that's the amazing thing. We can build an incredible platform, but you actually have to plug into it. Now, if you're serious about it, it's a simple process to do. So imagine, if you would, your dream business. You might be working right now for 10 years with the same employer. It might be 15 years. One of the things I can tell you is you're never going to be paid what you're worth. And if you're working in the private sector, then you're working to achieve somebody else's dream. And it's time to start talking about your dreams. What do you want to do with your family? What do you want to do for traveling? What do you want to do with the kids' college educations? How are you going to go ahead and retire before you end up in a nursing home, so you can retire and travel the globe for 15, 20 years? Those economic days of pension systems working are over for the majority of us. This is all about creating profit now. And with the coming economic storm, it's time to make this a reality. So build your business from home. Yeah, I like this part because I literally stand out on my back deck while I'm looking across our pond and with a coffee cup in hand, and I'll watch everybody in the morning leaving to go to work. And they're not looking very happy. And I'm deciding, for the morning what to do. What time am I going to work out? It creates freedom. So you make your own hours. Video and live training is included within our platform. You've got no commuting, no boss, and no stress if you build this the right way. So let's talk about the actual product offering, or subscription offering, I should say, that we're doing here. And we started off with a very reasonable and almost beyond belief simplistic and low-priced way to get into this platform. Our founders wanted to go ahead and make sure that anyone, and I repeat, anyone, could come in and start this business. So our first level is our prime level. This is for the person who kind of just wants to stick their toe in the water, have a general idea of what's going on, and see if they get the concept of it, and kind of go through the process. Now, if you've never had any experience in anything, this might be a good place for you to start, because it gives you the eBay, creating an eBay account, selecting an item to sell, how to find items, create your listing. It's all basic training, and going through, and our lead trainer, Carly, who you'll meet within the system, is just an absolute gem, and it's awesome to listen to her present as she goes through the platforms. It makes it very easy to understand. So it guides you through creating the Amazon account and everything else that we're talking about here for just $49.95. And did you notice I didn't say $500 to start plus $49.95 a month? No, we don't do things like that. This is a subscription fee that you just start right off day one. So Surge is for the next level. This is for the person who's a little more serious than just sticking their toe in the water. You want to come in, you want to create some quick successes, you want to get on the path to building this and understanding it, and you want everything that's in Prime as well as what's being offered in Surge. It's an important part. So with the Surge membership here, you're already getting everything you just saw offered in Prime. But in addition to that, now you're learning how to get to the top of the eBay search system. You're learning how to do the eBay social signals to increase the sales. You've got to master eBay with expert strategies, and you're going to go ahead and maximize your profits, through keywords, targeting, Facebook, following customers, all the advanced analytics. This, to me, is the sweet spot within the platform. Coming from my lack of online experience, when I look at the introductory level into Infinii, this is the perfect level for me at $149, and it may be for you. If you're somebody that's not real advanced technology-wise, this is the platform that's going to give you everything you need to truly kick a business off pretty quick. And for those of you out there that already are experienced with online sales, or maybe you've done some eBaying or Amazon sales in the past, or maybe you're just a really quick person that just wants to dive in here and say, okay, I'm going for it all. I want to have everything, because the Excel package includes Prime and Surge, everything in those two platforms, plus this actually gets into leveraging other sellers for profit, importing your own products from overseas, and that's things like who you saw, the gentleman before, Jim, that I introduced you to on there, as well as some of our others, top ones that are literally doing millions of dollars a year in sales. And folks, this is, you get to that point, you're like, well, how is that possible? It's because they're accessing products that cost them $1.50 to $2, and they're selling them for $20 to $25, and they're doing it 50, 60, 150 times a day on each individual product. And that's how you see Jim and others really build their checks to this level. So Excel is $399.95 per month, but again, no startup fee. It's just your monthly subscription. And when you look at the profits that can be realized just through your e-commerce thing, it's kind of a no-brainer for the person that's ready to get started. But as I said, the surge level, if you haven't done it before, jump in at that, and within 90 days, I guarantee you're going to be ramping up to Excel, because that's exactly what I found to be my experience in there. So you might be saying, okay, I get it, I see it, I understand there's a digital revolution, I want to get in front of this wave, I don't want to miss it, I know I don't want to be chasing my friends around with skincare, lotions, potions, pills from your average network marketing company, competing with GNC, competing with every other skincare product out there, or whatever the offering might be. I want something that, I don't really have any competition in the marketplace. I can go ahead and truly introduce individuals to companies they already know, Amazon, eBay, and show them how to profit. And to do that, all you have to do is pay $9.95 a month. That's the cost of the business platform. Because remember, our subscriptions are all customer bases. So if you're coming in, you could just come in as a customer. You don't even have to participate in the home-based business side. You could just be a customer, use this, and do all of your own sourcing through the eBay, the Amazon, and all the other online formulas that we talked about. But if you want to participate in the business, imagine being able to do that for just $9.95 a month for your whole business fee. I say that makes a lot of good economic sense. And the reason why is because we have a whole separate rewards plan to empower those that want to introduce this concept to others through what we call relationship marketing. You may have heard of it as called network marketing or whatever, but the whole world has gone over to relationship marketing. So we already know that you're going to be earning e-commerce profits from the system. All right, that's a given if you follow our system. Now let's talk about what happens when you start introducing this product to other consumers. You get a 15% what we call fast start bonus anytime you introduce one of the memberships. So whether it's Prime, Surge, or Excel, you get 15% of the first monthly subscription fee right off the bat. Number 3, we've got an accelerated beginner bonus that, because we want to get you into profit right away. We don't want you to see a negative on your account. Most people go into business and they're usually in the negative launching a business for the first 2 to 3 years in conventional terms. We want you in profit in your first 30 days. And so with that, we create an accelerated beginner bonus that you can earn up to $1,000 a month for your first few months in the business to really get you moving. Number 4, for those of you that are familiar with the home-based business, you're going to recognize that a dual team means a 2-team system. And with this 2-team system, you can actually earn up to $50,000 per week on the business volume being generated by others inside the platform. Now, that's pretty substantial. That could be as high as $200,000 a month, but that's the top that you can make on the dual team. So still, obviously, I think any of us would like to be making 10% of that as far as the average American out there, since the average middle class right now is hovering in the area of about $37,000 to $42,000 a year, and we know there's a lot of issues going on. So Infinity Pay, this is the additional unit-level piece. So I just showed you $50,000 a week potential on the dual team. You may recognize that dual team as a binary, but now the Infinity Pay is a 5% payout on the business volume. BV stands for business volume, and we attach business volume to everything that we go ahead move in subscriptions. So the key to recognize is that on our platform or in our platform, we do for subscriptions, we credit a 1 point to $1 in business volume. So we're a point-to-point, dollar-to-point ratio of 1-to-1 within the platform. And the company actually gives 70% of the overall business volume to that. So it's huge. Now, the unilevel is not your normal unilevel. The Infinity pay may be structured like a unilevel, but it pays 5% to Infinity. This is a huge economic end that will pay you up to $50,000 per week per individual that you introduce in their whole teams. Now, if this is Chinese sounding to you because you haven't been exposed to this before, don't even worry about this. You'll get introduced to it once you're in the platform. You may choose to do it or not do it, but you're definitely going to want to do the customer side and our e-commerce platform. But for those of you who recognize what I'm talking about, that number 6 that just popped up, that's not a typo. We have cumulatively $10 million in bonuses for those of you that do this and get serious about it. That's a potential that's there for this. So you can imagine what's going on here. On top of that, we've got a global bonus that we share 4% of the total business volume company-wide, and then we finish that up with a golden hammock, and the golden hammock right there is the ultimate in a retirement, and excuse me, not the term retirement, but an ultimate in kind of a loyalty bonus that's given to you, and it's a guaranteed revenue, or I should say a commission level that's going to come to you after you reach a specific rank and after you've collected all the elevation bonuses. It's just our way of simply saying thank you for the work you've done. And you don't see most companies. Matter of fact, I don't know of any other company in the industry that's doing it. Now, let's switch over to the Infinii training real quick. When we look at the video training that's in the library, which is continuously being updated right now, we look at the e-commerce masterclass. That's something you're going to want to pay attention to. I might hit on in a second. And Saturday morning trainings on e-commerce, team building. We got live training events that are going to be reaching out around the globe. But the masterclass that I just said you want to pay attention to, this is why. You're going to want to go ahead and participate in this, especially if you're in our international markets, because as Infinii begins to wrap the globe, and we see literally the tens of thousands of people that have joined us already and the thousands that continue to come on every month, we're obviously going to have a huge need for trainers to travel the world with us. So if you like talking with people and you like helping people, become an e-commerce expert with us. And if you are the top of the group and you're serious about this, you're going to have the opportunity to go ahead and participate and travel the world with us, and just become basically an advocate for helping people around the world. I can't wait to see this thing roll out in a big way. And I know we just had our first class on this. So, the question is, are you ready to profit? I would say that most of you, if you're still listening to this and you were invited on here, you are looking for something. So first thing you want to do is contact the member that invited you here tonight. If you can't reach them, go back to their Infinii website. All it is infinii.com/ and their username that they would have given you, or the link that they sent you, and that will take them to, or take you to, their own personalized website. Once you join, you yourself will have that as well. Now, select the platform. Again, 3 different platforms. Most companies will always tell you, come in at the top and this is where you want to start. We tell you to pick the platform that's right for you. I personally think that the vast majority, 60–70% of those of you listening, Surge is going to be your perfect entry point, and then you can start going into profit, and then you're going to want to jump up to Excel. Those of you again that just want to tiptoe in, Prime at $49.95 might be your choice, but that is a discussion for you to have with the person that invited you here tonight. Ask some additional questions, and they can get you answers for that as well. And last, I want to remind you that once you get in, make sure to check out the Director bonus. The Director rank is a very low-level rank that requires some work to attain, but it's really in the lower portion of our elevation or our rank structured system, and you receive a normal $10,000 bonus when you get to that level. And I don't know about you that have worked in the private sector or public sector, but not too often when you work hard does your boss hand you a $10,000 bonus. Well, our founders took it one step further. If you get to that rank within 90 days, they'll throw an additional $10,000 bonus on it. So when you get back in and you start looking around, make sure to ask the person who invited you here, and then also get into the training and find out everything you need to do to go ahead and hit that director bonus. So, folks, it's been my pleasure going through this with you tonight. What I would recommend you do is ask yourself one simple question. Look where you were 5 years ago, and look at where you are today. If you don't do anything different, where are you likely to be in the next 5 years? I think if you're honest with yourselves, most of you will say probably pretty much in the same place. So you're looking right now to find that vehicle. The question is, which vehicle is the right one? And there's a whole bunch of choices in the home-based industry, but there aren't a whole bunch of choices in the e-commerce world, and there certainly is nothing that compares to Infinii. So I would invite you to come in and become a part of our family and begin this process as we roll out globally. Remember, although Infinii and our subsidiary business that I was talking about before has already showed that this platform works, we're still in pre-launch on the full Infinii platform. So you are in the perfect place and time right now to become part of this wave. Don't miss it. And I'll look forward to speaking with you again on Tuesday night. And we'll have another guest on that's changed their lives with our e-commerce model. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and have a great weekend.